Hey guys, I'm Valentine. I've been started at Lightning Labs around the same time as Wilmer, so about a year ago. Today I'm going to be talking about lndmon, which is basically intended to be a monitoring solution for the Lightning Network built on top of LND, Dockerized. So yeah, it's intended to allow you to monitor your node, kind of like track. Also, you can track network trends with it as well. There's kind of like two tiers towards like the motivation behind this project. First of all, it'll help us prevent problems. So what happened a few months ago was there was like kind of a perfect storm of factors where there was like rapid network growth, and then there were also much older nodes that were on the network that were unoptimized. And the combination of the two, like a bunch of channels coming on, a bunch of nodes coming on, caused a ton of like network data to basically be flowing through. I didn't really mitigate it, so I don't know the details, but essentially there's like a zombie channel, which is kind of like a channel that's no longer usable. So what would happen is you'd come online, find out about a bunch of zombie channels, prune them all, and then you'd tell that to all your peers. Then you'd hear about them all again, and it was just kind of like a vicious cycle, and it just ate up a bunch of CPU, a bunch of memory. But this could have been prevented by a monitoring tool like this, because you can kind of see when growth is happening and take preventative action. And the other motivation behind it was currently there's no tool out there that's super easy to use for a routing node or just regular node operators to monitor their nodes. So we want to make it really easy, and lndmon works with just Docker Compose up. It spins up all your containers for you. Well, you have to like do a little bit of config, but basically it'll just connect to your LND and then just work from there. So yeah, so I'm going to talk next about the architecture of it, which is kind of fun. So you start with LND. And for those of you who don't know, LND has a really rich RPC layer where you can query it for a bunch of different information that really hasn't been fully taken advantage of before in a way like this. And then on top of that, I hope people can see it, but then you have lndmon, which is Dockerized, and it basically uses LND's RPC layer to pull that information. But lndmon just kind of like aggregates it. It doesn't really actually do anything with it. So then on top of that, we have Prometheus, which if you guys haven't heard of Prometheus, it's basically a general purpose monitoring solution. It's used in a lot of different projects, but this is a really cool application of it, I think. And what Prometheus allows you to do is a bunch of different things. It's like a general monitoring solution. So you can look at your data in a million different ways. You can also query your data really easily, which I'll go through an example of that. You can also visualize it really nicely, and it stores it very efficiently, which is pretty cool. Another really cool aspect, which we haven't even taken advantage of yet in lndmon, is the alerting. So like, oh, 5 of my channels just closed across a 10-second period, like maybe I should be concerned. So I can get an alert about that now. So to go through an example, like say I wanted to figure out which of my 5 peers were hogging the most of my bandwidth for whatever reason. So it's just pretty simple, like top K, 5 LND peer received byte, and then you just average it. So it's practically like readable in English, which is kind of nice. Pretty. I haven't like even played with it too much, but it seems pretty intuitive to work with. Yeah. So Prometheus does have graphs built into it, which is nice. But on top of that, we also put Grafana, which has even better graphing capabilities, basically like anything you can imagine, and it plays really nicely with Prometheus. So you can take all of Prometheus's data and just graph it in really pretty ways, which we'll look at later. There's the homepage of that, so you can see kind of what the graphs look like. And then an optional part of it, which is kind of cool, is the Nginx. So if you have a domain or you want to be able to access your dashboards from remotely, then you can just like spin up the Nginx portion of the project, and it'll set up all your TLS, everything auto-renews. It's just supposed to be very usable out of the box. So don't mind the way this slide looks, but the design goals were just easy setup, and then I wanted to just note the TLS auto removal. Another cool part of the project is that it's totally open source, so it has MIT license, yeah, and which means that you can just reuse the code. You can even sell it if you want, though we don't encourage that. You just have to you just have to use the license. So yeah, that's kind of cool, and we really want people to like fork it, play with it. Hopefully contribute dashboards as well. Yeah, so what's the future of this? Basically, it's kind of what you'd expect. We just want to add even more metrics than we have right now. We haven't even come close to taking advantage of the full RPC capabilities of LND, so definitely add more of that. And then if people came up with dashboards, or if they were using it and they came up with creative ways of displaying the data, then we definitely want them to PR to the repo and merge that right in so everyone can benefit. Kind of cool. This is one that Connor came up with earlier today, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know if you can see, but this is tracking new blocks versus the number of public channels, and you can see here that that when a block was mined, a few channels were closed. You can see that they were closed in that block. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, and then this isn't really a demo, but I'm just gonna tour Wallo's instance of this. Oh, cool, thanks. Yeah, so these are, whoops. Sorry. So this is the nodes. This is the node state one, so you can see your channels, node phones, what your most active channels were in terms of updates. So this is kind of the one that would have really helped prevent those network problems early in the year, because we can see, oh, there's a shit ton of channel updates coming in. That might be overwhelming. So. But then we also have chains. You can see block timestamps, etc., UTXOs. Let's see. We also, so the reason why this is built on LND 0.7 and beyond is because the new LND can export metrics about its gRPC performance. So this gRPC call transmitted this many bytes of data over this time type of information.
If you click on the top right, the time does messed up, or that one, go to 2 hours or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Good point. I didn't notice that. Yeah, but yeah, there we go. Okay, Thank you. It's kind of cool. You can map CPU usage to when a block is mined. You can see a little spike in LND and stuff like that. Also just looks really cool. And I guess there's peer state. There's just a bunch of stuff, so you can kind of imagine. Wait.
Oh.
Wait, where's the... Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. It's at github.com, Lightning Labs, lndmon, and then go to install.nd. Should be pretty easy to set up. Oh yeah, that's it.
What are the main differences between ln top? I saw someone put out ln top, a top version.
Oh yeah, that's isn't that just the top command, the Unix command?
Yeah,
it shows top processes.
Well, I think it's trying to be top for LND. I guess one in the terminal, the one you get graph. I think also you can do a lot more querying and alerts on this one too. So
okay, yeah, that's
try to use them both together. Yeah.
If you want to give a micro talk, you should start lining up over here just to cut.
Yeah.
This might be a little in the weeds, and it's okay if you don't know.
Okay.
If you already have Prometheus and Grafana infrastructure, and you just want those dashboards to plug in, is it easy to pull the default charts that you created from Grafana into your own?
Yeah, if you're already running Grafana, you should just be able to connect to this Prometheus. And if you're already running Prometheus, you should just be able to connect to lndmon as a data source. There might be a little configuring, but it should be doable.
Cool. Is it easy to record those dashboards you created?
Huh? Sorry?
The dashboards you created in Grafana?
Oh, yeah, it's really easy because the dashboards are all provisioned by a file, so you could just copy and paste the file into your Grafana. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys. And we're hiring.
Cool, yeah, so I just want to do a quick plug. We are hiring for these positions. And if you don't think you fit into any of these, then you should apply anyway. Send us your resume. We'd love to get in touch with you. At least from as a personal anecdote, I just sort of, I was a random GitHub contributor who just started contributing to LND, and here I am now, so maybe that's enough motivation for you guys. Cool.
Yeah, thank you.